What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. Now, I can be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to be making this video today where we have a new raid boss coming out. Now, my predictions after Genesect were Heatran Tornadus. I felt like that made a lot of logical sense. We've already seen the incarnate forms come through, haven't seen the Heatrans come out yet. I thought logically that made a lot of sense, but Niantic hit us with a little bit of a curveball. Instead, we're going to be seeing the Pokemon Heatran coming out for about the 5th time now. So, if you don't have yourself a Heatran, if you don't have a shiny variation of Heatran, it could end up being a good opportunity to, of course, go out there and do some raids along the way, and that's exactly what we're going to be covering in today's episode, the top counters, and we're also going to do it by level just to also provide some flexibility for everybody out there who doesn't have level 40 Pokemon. So, if you do enjoy this episode, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and if you do enjoy little baby Margot being in the videos, make sure to hit that like button as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So let's go and learn a little bit more about Heatran as a raid boss. First thing that we can talk about is the dates. We've got this from August 21st until September 10th. So as soon as Genesect ends up being released from those tier 5s, we're going to see Heatran starting to spawn and then of course go for several weeks. As far as the CPs are concerned, the two that you definitely want to take note of are going to be 2145 as well as 2681. This is going to be for a 100% IV weather boosted variation. Speaking of weather boost, sunny weather as well as the snowy weather. So hopefully you do get yourself that sunny weather, for example, and you can get yourself a chance at those weather boosts. And then anyways, if we go ahead and take a look at the movesets. Now, a lot of people were telling me last time I needed to go ahead and mention this. We have had an upgrade since the last time that it was released where we end up seeing the new move Flamethrower added in for this Pokemon. So there's going to be quite a bit of fire type move combinations that can occur, but just take note of those random moves like the bug move as well as a rock move and then finally a steel type move. So a little bit of a widespread as far as those moveset variations are concerned. Anyways, a little bit more about Heatran. So we've got it as a dual type of fire as well as steel. This is going to play into its weaknesses because we can see that it is going to end up being double weak to the ground typing. That's actually huge for anybody who is trying to short man or doesn't necessarily have access to a lot of people. And you are also not going to have a lot of people accept your raid invites to be able to necessarily take down this Pokemon, which is great. We've seen Pokemon like Genesect that are double weak to fire, Pokemon like Rayquaza that are double weak to ice. That makes it that much more possible with less people. So of course we will talk about that once we get into the timing of this. But I think that that's anything and everything. The last thing I have to mention is I do plan to do a deep dive on this Pokemon tomorrow. And I'm basically going to give an update as to where it stands as a fire type attacker. We've seen some new shadow Pokemon come in. We've seen some new fire type Pokemon be released since the last time that we covered Heatran. So it's more or less going to be more of an update as opposed to an initial deep dive since it isn't necessarily a new Pokemon. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into those top counters. We're going to start off with level 40 and then descend down to level 30. So at level 40, we're going to see a newcomer to the block, and that is Landorus. So Landorus was not released the last time that we ended up seeing Heatran in raids, and this time we're going to be able to get some use out of this Pokemon, actually taking over the #1 position from Garchomp. And we also have some good news around Garchomp as well, because it ended up being featured in the Dragon Week, where it was hatching way more common from the actual eggs and then also available in the wild. So maybe you've got yourself enough candy to finally power up yourself a Garchomp. I know that I finally have that. So I'm very excited about that, and you're going to get some immediate use out of that Pokemon. And then thirdly, we've got Rhyperior. I've got so many of them that end up having that exclusive move Rock Wrecker, but I have a ton that I evolved before the actual event, and I've just designated all of those to be those pure ground type attackers. So once again, super cool that these are non-legendary options. And then a final budget pick that of course is worth mentioning is Excadrill. So Excadrill can be found in the wild up to level 35. Of course, this is its pre-evolution, so you can save a lot of Stardust, a lot of candy there. I think a lot of people are going to use it simply as a budget fill-in option. So yes, this is level 40. We actually had to go down to the number 6 spot to finally find ourselves a Shadow. So the Shadow Pokemon are not dominating the ground typing. Actually, one of the few typings that doesn't have a ton of them dominating. But anyways, let's go ahead and scroll down to level 35 and check out those counters. And like I said before, I've got a couple powered up, but to be honest, this more likely fits my actual top Pokemon. I have most of them at level 35, and we can see that Groudon actually jumps up to the number 2 position, which is pretty impressive for this Pokemon at level 35. So yeah, go ahead and just basically try to fill this out as best as you can. I think that just generally speaking, those top 6 options are going to be solid. And then of course you got to go down pretty far past some of those ground types to finally find something that is not a ground type option, such as Shadow Machamp looking like a beast. So that could be something fun to do, especially if you have a ton of people that show up to the raid. And then finally, if we go ahead and check out level 35, we are going to see that there's really not too big of a shakeup. We can see that for whatever reason, Groudon actually ends up jumping back down. So it started off at number 4, went up to number 2, and then as we went down, it went down to number 5. So a lot of these Pokemon are just very close in performances. I mean, check this out. Rhyperior technically beating out Garchomp, but we're talking about less than a second. And then Excadrill is literally only a second option, or only a second behind it, Garchomp, as an additional option for you to use. So it's very close. It's a very tight pack. I mean, even when you're talking about the number 1 option, Landorus, it's only 2 seconds ahead of the number 2 spot. So if you were using any of these Pokemon throughout any of them from level 30 up to level 40, those are easily going to end up being your top options. So I want to know, what do you think about Heatran being added back into the raid system? What is Niantic thinking? Are you excited about that? Do you plan to go out there and do that? What exactly is your plan? For me, I'm trying to just get a shiny. I actually didn't get one the last time just because I haven't been that interested in raiding, but I would love to know what you think about it in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Huge shout out to the supporters over at Patreon. If you would like to get exclusive perks, make sure to check out that link in the description, and I will see you next time.